What's that? Find out. Agency, non-agency, it's been critical. Educate your seller, they need to know this. They're just sitting there going, so you're going to come here on Tuesday with 50 agents? Good. But the other company, they're doing it for 5%, they're bringing 60 agents. What's the difference? LPDU, agency, non-agency. This is the stuff that counts. We have to look in the mirror. The answer to this market does not rest in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, CNBC, listening to all the bad news. The solutions are right in the mirror, staring you back in the face. Don't become complacent. If you see something that you heard last year that sounds interesting, go, get away from it. Run to something new. Maybe some of the things that you've heard here this morning. These things will make you money this afternoon. This is sales. You know, realtors, real estate, I mean, we're all realtors, but when was the last time you went to the NAR office in Washington, D.C. and got a good money-making tip? Salesmanship, perspective, attitude, enthusiasm, excitement about this market. It's absolute. Who's here been selling real estate for less than 3 years? Great timing. Great timing. It is great timing. You know, everyone says, oh, I got in, what did I do? No, you picked a good environment because you know what? You don't have any bad history to change your way of thinking. You're a blank slate. But let's just talk about this advertising before I leave you this morning. Because this is the thing that we get so confused about. Every morning I pull up a homes magazine and I see pages and pages of what? Homes and faces. And they're none of the same faces that you actually see in the offices, but they're faces, because they're all a high school photo. First thing you need to do is update your picture inside of the last decade. If you're bald now and had hair, you gotta change it. But advertising, and I've been talking about advertising and the myth and the head fakes that we do with advertising and our marketing plan. I've got a marketing plan. Who's got a marketing plan? Marketing. No. Everybody markets. Everybody advertises. But why are all these listings with advertising and marketing plans sitting what? When the only thing going through is a cricket. And they all had advertising and marketing plans. But how do we prove it to a seller? Well, here's how you prove it. I've been talking about this for years, but it was validated for me, about 2.5 years ago, when I was in a hotel room in Chicago, and I was watching Good Morning America. And who popped up on Good Morning America but Barbara Corcoran, who said on Good Morning America, hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran, and I'm going to sell a house in a week. And I'm Barbara Corcoran, and I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty good. I mean, the market's starting to tank a little bit, and where was she going to do it? Does anybody know? Toms River, New Jersey. And I'm thinking, wow, this is good. Barbara Corcoran selling a house, Toms River, New Jersey in a week. Everyone's complaining, but hey, this is Barbara Corcoran. We know who Barbara Corcoran is, right? Barbara Corcoran, celebrated real estate broker, sold her company in New York for $80 million. She's on every show. She's the revered person in our business, and she's going to sell a house in a week. And I made a decision. No matter where I was going to watch Good Morning America. Because here's what Barbara Corcoran was going to do. Every day, she was going to report in as to the progress. Because she was building to not the open house, but what Barbara Corcoran liked to call the grand opening. Pretty fancy for a Fifth Avenue broker, grand opening. And every morning at 7:36 a.m., Barbara Corcoran was there, reporting on the lawn in Toms River, New Jersey, on the progress. And she was good. Day one, she was there, and she decluttered. And she was there in her TJ Maxx outfit. You know, she threw away the Ferragamo shoes and went and got hush puppies. She even got New Jersey eyes for us. And day one, she decluttered. Day two, she brought in a stager. She did it all. And every morning from 7:36 to 7:42 a.m., Barbara Corcoran reported in on the progress leading up to the grand opening, and she was going to sell a house that weekend. And I made a decision Monday morning, no matter where I was going to watch this program. To me, this was like the final episode of The Sopranos. I needed to see this happen. And there she was, Monday morning, on the lawn. They panned in. She looked a little haggard. I mean, after all, she's been in New Jersey for a little while. And Diane Sawyer said, so Barbara, how'd you do? And Barbara Corcoran said, well, I'm sorry to report, I didn't sell it. And I was saying, my chest started to tighten a little bit. I go, wait a minute, Barbara Corcoran, what? He goes, well, so then I said, but Diane Sawyer asked the question. Now, this is Diane Sawyer. She's interviewed heads of state. She's interviewed leaders of the free world. She knows the question to ask. And I'm like, Diane, ask something good, ask something good. And she did. She said to Barbara Corcoran, Barbara, after a week on the market, did you learn anything? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is Barbara Corcoran. There's nothing left to learn. She's not at all, Barbara Corcoran. And she said, yes, Diane, I had. And I'm sitting there at the edge of the thing with the remote at top notch, and she goes, I learned that you need to price it right. And I said, no, it can't be. It can't be Barbara Corcoran. But then my mind started to go on me a little bit. And I said, wait a minute, there's a bigger story here. There's a much bigger story. And I called my friend who works at Gray Advertising on Madison Avenue, and I said, Jeff, if I wanted to buy 6 minutes of television every morning from 7:36 to 7:42 a.m., could I do it? He goes, I'll call you right back. He calls me back. He says, we can do it. I go, how much? He says, well, it'll be $9.6 million. And I said, wait a minute. Here you have a house in Toms River, New Jersey, national exposure, international exposure, on the #1 program in the morning with the best 6 minutes of television that you can buy on the market for $9.6 million. And you know what? If you don't price the house right, it won't sell. So the next time you have a seller who says they want advertising, or you use your advertising strategy as the thing that's going to do it, remember, Barbara Corcoran's going to do it. You think you're going to do it when you put that little ad in the back of that Homes magazine, and you really get creative and you type the word bold, or cute, or affordable. Or no, you have a credit, so you put a little border of boats. That'll get them. So the idea is truth and authenticity. You go back to your offices, you talk about things, you hear this all the time, about making deals, making sales, making transactions. It's not about that. I've always believed, and I've grown up in this business, it's the only thing I've ever done. I grew up in this business when the microwave was the size of a car. And that's all my mother ever used, because she was a realtor too. And you have to make a difference to people. And if you make a difference to people, they'll see your value, they'll feel and they'll appreciate it. So with that, don't make deals, don't make transactions, go out there and make a difference, as I hope I've made a little bit of a difference for you this morning. Go out there, knock them dead. I'd be happy to take, we wanted to leave just a couple of minutes to ask any questions. I love dilemmas, challenges, disagreements, Scott, you're crazy, or a difficulty that you're dealing with right now in the marketplace. Throw it out there. Maybe we can have a little bit of an exchange and maybe give you some ideas on how to overcome. Anybody got one? Situation, seller will not reduce. Go ahead.
That was my question. My question was, you talked about the desk unit in Chicago, the LPDU.
The LPDU?
And I had a couple of times tried to get that information, and I asked my mortgage rep, and they were wrong.
Well, if your mortgage rep won't give it to you, hopefully it wasn't one of these mortgage reps. But I would tend to tell you that the quality mortgage reps out there understand the value of LPDU determination and what that means, especially today. I've been talking about it for 5 years. If you have a situation where the seller or the offer will come through and the other agent or lender will not provide it, what information does that give you as a listing agent? Think there's a problem here?
You can't extract it.
Oh, you can't extract it? Let me ask you a question. Can the seller make it incumbent upon the buyer contractually to provide it before negotiation begins? Absolutely. Sellers can ask for it if they want to. Just like a builder can put financial conditions on a contract in order to make it binding to the buyer before they begin, we can do the same thing for our homeowners. But most importantly, educate your seller on why you do this for your clients. And that just might help you go from a 6% commission to a 7% commission.